Hello and welcome, HeirofCarthage here, and you are back in the definitive Seleucid campaign on YouTube. We are reestablishing Alexander's legacy, and just to have a little bit of extra role-playing, I actually got this question in a couple of episodes. Like, I don't get it, why is Hannibal here? Well, if you haven't caught the first episode, you'll want to go watch that, but Hannibal is here because, historically speaking, when he got chased out of Carthage, or I say chased, he left Carthage because he was worried that the Romans were going to insist that he be turned over to him. He went to the court of Antiochus, and while there, eventually did actually lead a navy in the Seleucid fleet, and it didn't end up turning out anything important, but we kind of thought that it would be fun to roleplay him in a different role here, which was leading an army and trying to head towards his old foes in Rome, and basically represent what it would have been like had maybe he be given a command, rather than just being given a navy. Now, last time I asked you all to comment on who your least favorite faction was, and we had some pretty funny ones. No surprise that Chimeria, Colchis, RDA, and several other factions got quite a bit of hate in the comments, and to be quite fair, they deserve it. The desert tribes got some hate as well from some folks. Apparently there's a fair few people who don't like them. And then there was some out there who didn't seem to like the Iceni. I actually saw multiple comments from people who weren't a big fan of the Iceni, mostly thinking that their roster just wasn't that great. And I'll tell you that they're missing their most realistic unit ever, which was in Rome 1, and that was the Head Hurlers, right? You leave the Head Hurlers out of the roster, and no one is going to like the Iceni. However, folks, there was one comment that just absolutely won the comments, and I have to read this one out because I like it so much. So, when I was asking you all to leave comments, I always tell you that you are free to leave comments like, "Air, you have an ugly mug," and "Air, you smell." And this person did that. They took me up on that offer, first of all. So they were paying attention on two fronts. But not only that, they took it a step further and made this comment truly the air-bashing trifecta. And it was all at my request. And so then I must really deserve this. Now, this comes from Zunre, or it's Xunre is the name. Carthage is the worst faction. It only gets played by people who smell and have an ugly mug. So you see that? You see how beautifully that was done? He took my own words, allowing you to insult me, and he took that and then also insulted the faction that I like most. So this was truly a unique and wonderful comment. It made me crack up for a long time. So well done, sir. You owned me there, and I invited it, so I think that is a double win for you. So, excellent. Oh, man, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Anyway, hey, I could use your help in the comments, as always, so feel free to get down. There was also a lot of Fs in chat for Seleucus and our Admiral as well. I will try not to kill any family members on this episode, as most of our replacement family members that are up and coming are still quite young. So we probably do not want to kill them as of yet. We don't have anybody to really replace them unless we start taking on other nobles, which I guess we could. We could marry off. Like, this lady has some serious gravitas, by the way. I mean, I think she has more gravitas than our king. No, not quite, but she has a lot. So I don't know what this lady's up to, but I mean, she's got some gravitas. It says we can't seek a spouse for her because we can't afford it? Okay, good. Yeah, okay, good. That means maybe we can get some spouses for some of these ladies that are in court, and maybe that'll also give me access to more commanders should the worst happen, meaning that I get a commander killed and need to replace them. Hannibal's getting pretty old. I mean, he's not going to be a general forever. I want to say that he is... Oh boy, how old is he? He's 65, so he's no spring chicken. He's going to eventually need to be replaced, and we're going to let that happen when the time comes. And I mean, he's had a pretty solid legacy here. He took over Egypt. He's now smacking down the Athenians. It's unfortunate that he may not get to make it back to Rome, but we will still roleplay that. The army carries his name, right? This is Hannibal's revenge, and we'll put in a general, and we'll roleplay that general has been handpicked to replace him and carry on his vision. So we'll make sure and have a good roleplay of that when the time comes. Now, if you all want to support today and leave a comment, again, feel free to make fun of my looks or smell. both of which seem irrelevant to this video, but gives you a fun way to poke fun at me if you need to. Some people just leave comment, or I've got a more fun thing for you to answer. So today's discussion, as it were, and speaking of, I went back and I responded to a group of folks from the last one. I cannot respond to every comment, but I will be going back on every episode and picking some and going through and responding to as many as I have time to do, given the time frame that I am working in. So I apologize if I don't get to everyone, but I am attempting to get to as many as I can. Now, the discussion for today, if you want to participate, is kind of a speculatory one. If you all are watching the campaign and you want to leave a comment to support, tell me who you think is going to be the strongest empire that we end up facing down as we move west. Will it be Rome? Will it be Gaul? Will the Lusitani have built a death fortress in Iberia? Will it be the Iceni spreading everywhere? Will it be the Suebi? Will we just be up against armies of berserkers? Will it be Carthage? I mean, could be Carthage at this point. We have no idea. Syracuse. All of these are major factions because they're playable factions in the game. So who do you think is going to give us the biggest challenge? Or do you pick the kind of alternative option that they are all going to suck because the AI sucks? If I had to hazard a guess, I would say my guess would probably be the latter, which would be that they're all going to suck because the AI sucks. That said, I would be oh so happy if Rome has, like, conquered out a big chunk of land over here. However, I'm obviously not feeling too enthusiastic about it because Syracuse still exists on Magna Graecia, and Rome was not over here in Macedonia. We cannot see Illyria yet, so it is possible they're there. But, yeah, I don't have high hopes. We'll see. But I hope it's Rome. But, however, my guess remains, like I said, with the latter. In any case, we have replenishing our troops. Our fleet is now replenishing too. I'm training the Royal Peltis ship that I lost, and I got rid of our mercenary ships in the fleet because we just don't need them. We have arrived over here in Alexandria with the Griffin's Grace here, and this army is going to be our more Romanesque type army with a heavy sword focus, and they are going to take on the Cyrenaicans here at any moment. And of course, back here in the east, the satrapy wars continue, and we are starting to get peace offers from both Bactria and Arachosia, or however you say their name. I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. However, we're not willing to accept their peace offers, or their peace officers for that matter. I'm missing a pike unit over here. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to replace it with a levy pike. I don't really have an option at the moment without it taking a whole lot longer, and I don't really want that. And with this army, I am missing... I've got my pike units. I'm missing a thorax sword, and maybe one other unit, because I have my pikes. I have my two thurios, so we're missing a thorax sword, and I guess maybe a cavalry unit would be appropriate to have here. I mean, maybe an extra archer or something like that. But I can't recruit thorax swords here. I'll have to take a terrible hillman, which is unfortunate because they are truly terrible. But I'll start replenishing those armies some with new units so that we can stay on the move. All we got to do is win the war, and then we can refit those armies as necessary. I do believe it is time to end turn. Let's check for... Yep, we have an upgrade for the Heralds of Triton here. And the Heralds of Triton, research, faction-wide, morale, cultural conversion, local. Let's just do the research. And then, is there anything here that buffs fleets? Probably not. Like, CA has this on fleets, but it's pretty, like, usually set up to be good for armies. Shots per minute could affect some of our units here, so we'll take that. This commander, we were going to work on him being an admiral, but we got him killed, so we're going to start that again with the new commander. I'm hoping we can get lots of action for this fleet. Pella, we could use the reinforcements when we get to Pella, and Pella is going to be somewhat significant because it was the ancient seat for the capital of Macedon, and so it kind of will be us reestablishing... this character has an unassigned skill. Okay, we have one more character. Missed that back here. Our champion has an unassigned skill point. We finished Hoplite, got it upgraded all the way. I'm going to upgrade the Siege Expert here, which is going to take away even more siege holdout time. And it takes away a lot of attritional losses for our own army when they're besieging which will be extremely handy for whatever parent army that this guy is involved with. So let's see what happens, if anything, on this turn-in. Bactria didn't see much for them. Oh, the Athenians have a large army in garrison at Pella.
My lord is
More
willing to lay
peace
down
treaty
the
begging
sword.
here. We're definitely going to reject that. Cyrenaicans have returned their army back to land. It was out on transport ships. And that's good that they've returned. I want to fight them and take them out head on. We've lost some garrison troops in a whole bunch of places, which is probably due to unseasonal conditions, if I had to hazard a guess. Now let's take a look at where we're at. So the Heralds of Thanos are probably well enough to get campaigning again. Rada is captured. Our ally failed to capture Pura, and it looks like they were defeated and had to retreat. This leaves us in an interesting position down here. This army still needs to replenish some, and it needs to recruit some replacement troops, but everything we have access to is bad. It looks like we are missing here probably a heavy cavalry and a pike unit. If we dig into our bag of mercenaries here, I can get the heavy cavalry unit, but we cannot replace the pike unit. I may just go with less infantry for the time being and grab an extra archer or an elephant. Elephants probably be better because they can cause a lot more damage, but they just cost so much more upkeep. Oh yeah, that's a lot of extra upkeep. I'll go ahead and do it though, just for a little while, because we can't afford to slow down the pace of this army, essentially. So, and I'm going to keep them rolling. All right, Media has laid siege to one of the Arcosan settlements here. And like I said, the Heralds of Thanos are well enough to proceed, and I think they can march all the way to Merv here. And it looks like the Bactrians are under siege from the north. It looks like maybe the Roxolani are pushing them. Let's take a look at the diplomacy. They are getting pushed by the Roxolani. So the Bactrians have bitten off far more than they can chew. That's totally fine with me. Athena's Faithful needs another unit here as well. If I had to take a guess, probably like, again, a heavy cavalry unit of some sort would be the most appropriate. I don't even have access to that. Could get some Parthian horse archers. But I'll just grab an extra mercenary Persian archer here. Run the upgrades on them. So these two armies will be, you know, well enough to continue the march. I'm going to push to Merv here and see what the situation looks like. The Bactrian capital is not far distant. We're going to need to fight this one manually so that we don't lose a bunch of elephants. We've got to face off against some Bactrian Royal Cav, several pikemen, and a couple of Thurio spears. So there are some decent units in this garrison. Not near enough units to probably for them to potentially be successful, obviously, but there are, like, those Bactrian Royal Cavalry are some respectable heavy horse. And then the pikemen in the right kind of choke point can be dangerous. However, we hold missile advantage, so sitting up in a choke point with pikemen is just a recipe for a relatively, I would say slow suicide, but it's actually going to happen relatively quick. It won't even be that slow. I'm going to put my Thurio spears and Peltist right behind my archers, so it'll just be a shower of javelins for anything that comes towards this formation. And basically I'm going to use this formation to do all my work. And I will support as needed with cavalry and elephants. I'll kind of just split up like this. And I don't even need my pikemen. I can just chill over here in the woods and enjoy the scenery. I'm going to push up over here and see what kind of Bactrian resistance we can drum up. If we get suicided by cavalry, then we'll just fall back behind our veteran hoplites and Thurio spears. But I'm hoping that I can get my archers up in here and start causing some severe damage to the Bactrian garrison. So, Eastern spears and pikemen awaiting us here. There are some citizen cavalry making a move forward. My formation is just a bit too wide to fit up in here. So I'll have to collapse it down just a little. Okay, I've got my forces far enough forward, they should be able to open fire. These Eastern Spearmen are actually not worth my ammunition. So I'm going to cease fire. I want the pikes or the cavalry. So I'm going to push up a little bit closer. I want to get a more valuable target in range. This Levy Pikeman is a worthy target because it can be dangerous if I don't have a means of dealing with it other than like a frontal assault. So I'm going to target the Levy Pikes. My archers have a very nice arc of fire here. They can come over the buildings and still be very effective. Whereas the enemy slingers are going to be struggling to fire from the position that they're in. This is where the versatility of archers is going to show itself. So this Levy Pike unit is being fairly rapidly slaughtered. Levy Pikes have low armor and their shield does not provide a substantial block chance. So it's not surprising to see them go down relatively quick. I'll go ahead and take out these slingers here. I think that's a worthy target as well, because then the slingers won't be able to work against me. This may force the AI into changing its position some as well. I'm going to fast forward while we're raining death on the enemy. You can actually see the slingers tend to block archer fire better than the Levy Pikes did, all things considered. Alright, so we're about halfway through our ammo and we've slaughtered a slinger unit and a pike unit. There is another pikeman. Right here, the AI is either repositioning or preparing for a suicide charge. And my guess is that it's the latter. I think they are preparing for a suicide charge. I'm going to move up to meet said charge. Yep, it was the suicide charge. My heavy hoplites won't be braced, but I don't think the citizen cavalry had a proper attack order anyway. I'm going to put some shots into the cavalry real quick. Now I'm going to change my target to the incoming pikemen. I'm going to let my javelins clean out the cavalry. We did take a lot of damage here, and that's probably friendly fire from javelins, which is unfortunate, but that does happen when you have this many javelins flying about the battlefield.
Defensive positions.
Put these guys into a defensive stance as well. Okay, so we are causing significant damage to the Bactrians. And our heavy hoplites should do just fine in holding the line here, though I need to be careful with my javelins that I don't cause too much friendly damage. They do have some Levy pikemen that have gotten into me. I'm gonna go out of formation attack. The enemy general is about to collapse under javelin fire. I'm gonna go ahead and charge in with these units that have finished discharging their javelins to add a little extra weight to this situation. I'm gonna try and target those eastern slingers as well. Got elephants inbound. Archers. I'm gonna try and bring in a flank charge here. See if we can break the Bactrian resolve. And we did indeed hurt the morale really badly. My Persian cavalry And we got rid of the slingers. Alright. Heavy cavalry did its job nicely. We can now push forward with the hoplites and continue the assault. My Peltist and Thurio spears did a good job as secondary infantry. I hope that Thurio spear does not have ammunition left. Oh, it does. So this is actually a very risky charge for me. Fortunately for me, the AI was too stupid to turn around and throw javelins at my elephants, or else they could have very, very badly hurt my elephant unit there. But instead, this elephant unit is going to absolutely trample all these Thurio spears. So there we go. Bactrian garrison is soundly defeated. Without casualties to my elephants, thank goodness, because I certainly opened the door for it to be possible. But fortunately for me, like I said, the AI not intelligent enough to capitalize on it. Alright, we're going to occupy, yeah, it's Hellenic, so we're going to occupy Merv. I think it's access to, is that coal? Yeah. Lead, sorry, lead. We have access to, we actually have a good garrison, or barracks here as well, as a stable. It's 1 army recruitment capacity, so we can get rid of this levy pike. Disband it, and we can replace it. Ooh, we can get thorax pikes here as well. I'm gonna go ahead and disband all my pikes and replace them with... Wait, what did I just... I thought I just oh, I merged. My bad. Disband the pikes. And 2, 3, 5. So we got 5 pikemen. I would love to have my own native heavy hoplites, but they're not available until we get to tier 4 barracks, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, I could replace my Peltist, but we don't have the right one to replace the Peltist with either. We can replace the mercenary Thurio spears with our own Thurio spears. Now, some people might be like, "Air, you're disbanding a lot of units." Yeah, I am. We should probably hold off, get these pikes in here, because if the Bactrians have another army nearby, they could come attack me, and it could get a little bit dangerous. But I feel pretty comfortable, you know, thinking that this really shouldn't have a whole lot of downsides. This Bactrian army here, unless they take on mercenaries, we can probably defeat them with most of our garrison, settlement garrisons. At least we'll certainly take a shot at it, right? I don't know for sure whether it will work out, but I feel fairly confident that we can. Let's go ahead and get some industry started here. Now we need to deal with Pura. This army needs more replenishment, though. I'm not willing to move them yet. I just don't like how this gives the Aracosans a opportunity to get behind me here. But we're just gonna have to deal with it for the moment. Not a whole lot I can do. So we could take a look at going to war with the Cyrenaicans on this turn. They have a large army, which includes Egyptian pikes. This is going to be an Egypt-fashioned faction here. This could be a fun battle, because it'll be a Roman style of fighting versus a Alexandrian style of fighting. Cancel. Hang on, so the Cyrenaicans still have this. That is an army, that is, and it's a really bad one at that, because it's just a lot of Egyptian infantry. So that is a really bad army. The garrison at Alexandria, though, is also kind of bad. But it could probably get the job done in the right situation, depending on how it has to be defended. Plus, we get... Oh, we get... Yeah, it can protect itself. We've got a couple of assault hexeres that are armed with Royal Peltist. So we can certainly protect Alexandria from that crappy army there. So I'm going to go ahead and come lay siege to the Cyrenaicans. I have to call my allies in because they're satrapies. I don't have the option to exclude them. I'm going to lay siege to them and see if I can get them to come out and fight me on open ground. They don't have to surrender for a few turns, so we'll just encircle them and see if we can get them confident in their numbers to come out and fight us. The downside here, though, is that I take attrition and they do not. I don't really love that. Shoot. Yeah, I mean, I'll try it for one turn, and then I'm going to go after them. Like, I'm not going to give them a lot of time to let my troops take a bunch of attrition. We replaced our Royal Peltis ship here. So this fleet is back up to snuff. And time for us to come and dock here and replenish quickly. Unfortunately, I cannot upgrade the hull of my Admiral, which is unfortunate because it makes his health quite a bit lower. We have a building available in Athens. We got this Perioikos camp, stables. I think I'll just build some sanitation for Athens. Let's take a look around to see if I'm about to create more patchy factories. I have a harder time remembering the further I get into these campaigns. We have more going on. Look at this, we are in control of the entirety of Hellas, which was the heartland of the Athenian Empire. Now belongs to me. No big change here. This new family, the Egyptian families, though, controls Arabia Magna. So we have a few territories that are controlled by these other factions, but nothing to be terribly afraid of. The Egyptian families are very loyal to us, which is good news. So we don't have any immediate concerns in terms of loyalty. All right. I did not see any patchy factories that we were going to be creating. Ally has that sieged. Took over, and we're replenishing here. I could march this army up to support here, and that would basically keep the Bactrians off my case. They don't have a... Well, they have this river crossing here. They could try and go around me, but I don't think they could reach all the way back to Nisa in a single turn in. They cannot. So I'm going to go ahead and put this army right outside of Merv. And that way, they can't really attack me here while I'm replenishing, or sorry, re-equipping. It'll leave me in a pretty safe position. Let's go ahead and end one more turn. Hannibal's basically getting his army replenished for a push against Pella.
Your support was welcome in times
Looks like Pontus may be about to kick off a war. Wow, there we go. The Athenians have a couple of large armies.
And an end to womanly
Right,
peace.
Colchis is back at war with us. Apparently they do not like womanly peace. Alright. That guy better not let the Amazons hear him talking like that, or else he's gonna have some problems. Alright, so Colchis turns its back on us again. The amount of surprise I have is at absolutely zero. We're taking very, very little attrition here. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait.
At your service.
Like I said, I don't have any particular reason in a hurry. Let's look at this. We have... This lady requires attention, so... Itaria has been the companion of your general for some time now, but she rejects his advances. The man is humiliating himself. Dispute. Heard that large donations have been known to solve problems such as these. Make her disappear. Confront the general and show him that his behavior is laughable. Let's do that. See what happens. Watch him like rebel against us now. That'd be just my luck. How are we doing on replenishing? Quite good. I think one more turn and we're ready to push towards Larissa. This fleet needs just a little bit more replenishment. We are through with our research, at least for now. Metropolis, goldsmiths. Seleucid mines. Cattle ranches. We can already build a royal stables. Where is the mercenary camp, royal barracks? I do want to be able to build a royal barracks. It's gonna take some time to do that research, but I'm gonna get it started. I don't need it at the moment, but I do want access to those sweet highest tier Seleucid units. I'm gonna take Athena's Faithful, and I'm gonna march at speed back towards Colchis, because they are obviously going to be a problem. It's only going to take me 3 turns to get all the way back there, but we're going to do it. Like I said, this Bactrian army is not terribly threatening. It looks like our Median allies took over capital there, so that is good news. And at Prada, we have gotten a lot of replenishment done, which leaves the enemy capital here and Pura as our main worries. Sigartia might be about to pull some shenanigans. Difficult to tell exactly what they're up to there. The Cyrenaicans didn't attack me. I'll give them one more turn to see if they can go with honor. If not, I'm just going to go in and cut them down. And I expect a good fight from the Athenians, which means if I'm not going to spend any more money on troops at this point, I might as well spend it on some buildings where it makes sense to do so. Let's throw down these upgrades in Egypt. Might as well. Let's look at some of our more newly conquered territory, see if we want to add anything. Wait, go back to here. We could afford to put in a barracks here so that it will improve our garrison. That way if Pontus or someone else backstabs us, we've got a bit stronger of a citadel there. Bactria is going to attack Susia. This was actually a good point of attack for them because I have very little by way of defense here. And I don't feel overly confident that we can win this fight. I'm going to try, because if we could win, it would be very helpful. But I'm not convinced that we will. I only have the single pike unit, and it's going to really depend heavily on how this map is designed, on whether or not I can properly defend here. If I absolutely knew that I could defend like a single choke point. See, this map design is a little bit of a mess here, because they can just come around my flank. There's no way for me to get like up against a wall here and prevent them from being able to outflank me. Just a capture point, it's not a victory point. I don't really want to lose the capture point, though, either. I can't quite spread this unit wide enough to cover flank to flank, which means I'm going to be relying on Eastern Spearmen to hold a flank for me. That is very non-ideal.
Ready and waiting.
Awaiting order.
Your orders.
Well, this is not ideal. I honestly don't quite exactly know what would be the best way to set up here. I set up here too. I've got to make sure my slingers have a good line of sight back to here because, well, theirs is a slinger as well, so it'll have to come in like a direct line of fire. All I have is mob to protect this flank. Yikes. I don't think this is going to go well, folks.
Yours to command.
I don't think this is going to go well. We're going to need to get very lucky here to pull this one off.
Fight with honor, and all will be well.
Racing, melee defense, can't move. We want to go ahead and go into a square, but want to stay out of phalanx unless we're going to get suicide charged.
We are at your command. Our
My
general is
slingers
under
have
attack.
got to be able to return fire here. And do so quickly. This is not good. See, my slingers are already having a hard time getting line of sight on the horse archer, so this is exactly what I was worried about. So I'm barely going to be able to return fire while my general loses units, and I'm going to be forced into a phalanx because I have a Bactrian Royal Cav on the way. I've got one unit that can return fire to the horse archers, and for now that's just going to have to do. Comes the suicide, and it was fairly suicidal. Gonna have to hope for the best here, folks. Hope for the best.
What are your orders?
For the time being, I'm gonna countercharge this Bactrian Royal with my Eastern Spears to try and put some extra pressure on them as they fight up against my phalanx. Horse archers are dying slowly. Bactrian Royal Guard is taking a pretty stiff beating here. And the horse archers are as well. If we can kill this Bactrian Guard quickly, I'm actually taking quite a few more losses here than I would like.
The enemy general.
But there goes the general, so that's going to hurt enemy morale some. We really need to get this unit off the battlefield. If we can get that unit off the battlefield, I'm going to be feeling pretty good about our chances, actually. It just stabilized its leadership, though, amidst the suicidal fight that is a part of. I'm going to pull this Eastern Spear unit back, try and force that unit fully into the cavalry. This is a problem back here. We've got to return fire onto that spear units. Gotta get my slingers into a position to be effective against their own slingers, which now we are. We're 2-1. Think we can take them down. They do have high ground. Oh crap, here comes their pikemen. It's not what I need. It's not what I need. I need their slingers dead. But I also need my own pikemen to help with this fight against their pikemen. My slingers are taking a pretty good beating. That high ground may be playing some pretty important role here. Their slingers may change target to my general, I don't know. They are. Which is both good and bad for me. It allows my slingers to fire back at them. It has the downside. I've got to move my slingers now in the middle of this fight. This is not good.
Pikes! Understood. Orders understood.
I'm gonna back up for a minute.
By your command.
Slingers, I said back up, please. My general is going to be taking egregious damage in this fight. Oh gosh.
As you command.
This is going to be close. If my general dies, we could lose the whole thing here too. Okay, that's good news.
Yes, commander.
That's good news. We just collapsed their pike unit. Unfortunately for me, this is not a gimme yet.
General.
Because they still have 2 units of Eastern Spearmen back here as well. And I'm taking a lot of damage to my infantry. We've killed some of their key units, but not all of them. That's what I'm saying here. Stop that horse archer. Trying to finish off their slingers. Start moving my mob over here to get in an outflanking position. Keep my slingers firing at some of their units in the distance.
And for glory! Ready?
There we go.
By your command. Pikemen! Cut them down!
Do I dare give an attack order with my pikemen here? This is a it's a dangerous situation for me. Ah, it's not good. I don't want these guys coming towards this flank, so I'm gonna fall back this way. Okay, now I'll start moving around this flank, see if we can go outflank them. Yeesh, this is bad. If my general dies right here, we're just gonna completely collapse our leadership. It's not good. I'm entirely dependent on a mob right now. I think we're gonna lose. If I had to venture a guess here, I'm pretty sure we are going to lose this battle.
Flee the field of battle.
Because the enemy resolve is not breaking, and ours is probably going to.
Fire on the enemy!
I need that back tree. Oh gosh, are we gonna get lucky and pull it off? I think we're gonna do it.
Ready!
Oh gosh, it's gonna be close. Thing is that the AI is gonna get to put a new general in this army on the next turn, and it'll actually probably be strong enough to defeat my garrison because my garrison will replenish slowly. And they'll probably put a new general in that army and hire like a few more mercenaries, so we may just turn around and lose. That was very close. That was very close indeed. I was having a difficult time limiting the kills of their horse archers. With one more pike unit in that garrison, I mean, we're going to be impervious to any small army attacks such as these. Okay, Pergamon wants a defensive alliance. I'm not interested in Pergamon. I don't feel afraid of them. Nor do I feel like there's any particular reason for me to give them much respect. A hidden agent exposed. The fool refuses to see the error of his way. Minus 20 gravitas. That's annoying. The Cyrenaicans still won't attack me, so these pitiful creatures want me to defeat them in their own town. That's fine. They don't have the guts to look at their citizenry and come out and stand against me. Then so be it. I'll slaughter them in their stronghold. So all we have to do is eat away at the pikes, and then this battle's over. Those Egyptian infantry have absolutely no prayer whatsoever of holding up against thorax swords. I'm basically gonna full deploy here to start with. I may split up more. However, I will do one thing. I'll go ahead and put my Ozet Knights and a Hellenic Cataphract over here. Put my general right here in the middle. I'm gonna hard group these to make it a little easier to move. Let's push up and see what kind of juicy targets we can get ourselves into. Are they sallying out here? They were sitting here in their garrison and now they're gonna sally out and attack me? I mean, that's fine. I'm down with this. Swing my shock cavalry back this way. My Ozet Knights look to be getting a chance at some naval units that are going to be disembarking in our vicinity. Nubian Spear, Citizen Cav. Okay, target the Egyptian pikemen. Those Nubian spearmen are of little concern to me. I'm going to spread out my sword line a little. And countercharge right here. I'm gonna destroy that Egyptian pike unit. And that camel spearman just took a whole bunch of savage javelin volleys. Egyptian pike unit is slow and it's unsupported. I'm gonna bring my Ozet Knights in for some work here. Okay, so The Egyptians are getting absolutely spanked at the moment. I'm just leaving my swords in a mostly defensive formation. There's really very little that the Egyptians can do about my heavy infantry here.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
I'm gonna trap these naval reinforcements with my Ozet Knights. Nope, I want you over here, and then swing. The Egyptian pike general is being decimated. My Thurio spears supporting the swords on either side is keeping them safe from cavalry charges. Like I said, the pike units are going to be significantly weakened by the time they get to me. There is one that got through pretty healthy here, so I'm going to back off and give a little fire support to it. Fortunately for me, the AI just clumped all these guys together, and my Ozet Knights are going to have absolutely no problem mopping them up, so I'm not even going to get involved in that fight there, actually. I'm going to wait for that other naval vessel to come and land. I'm going to target the pikemen here, because that's really the only danger to my swordsmen. Let's reposition. Get ready for the incoming wave. I'm going to start to kind of close the flanks off a little here.
At your service. Quick march. Orders? Orders understood.
Our Ozet Knights having no problem mopping that up. The Egyptians are still kind of suicidally charging straight forward. Countercharge there. Let's give these guys a bit of a countercharge. There are more pike units inbound, so I'm going to have to continue to give them some attention with my archers.
Ready for orders.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
This unit of Ozet Knights up and start pressuring the Egyptian flank. I'm gonna keep pummeling pike units.
Our general is under attack.
Yeah, he probably is. Okay, so we are closing the noose around the Egyptians. I'm gonna put them in a full envelopment.
Commander, understood. Your orders. Your orders. Ready and waiting. Orders. Ready. Commander. Understood.
Okay, the Egyptians, or as the Cyrenaicans, I should say. I'm calling them Egyptians because for the most part they are. But they are fully enveloped. My knights are taking a little bit of fire from out here, so let's back off and then we'll just kill them when they come ashore. Continue that pursuit with the Ozet Knights. Push my Thurio spears through here. Now this kind of fighting where it gets kind of devolved into a bit of a blob fight, this is going to go very, very poorly for the Cyrenaicans because they are dependent upon pike units. And we have no such dependency in this fight. My general clean up those javelins. We can now go for the cleanup move here because they're going to land that vessel. My Ozet Knights out here cleaning up. So you can see the
men are wavering.
The victory is near completion. I do have one thorax sword unit here that's a little bit thrashed. I'm going to retreat it because they're taking a pretty savage beating. Same thing here. I'm gonna retreat these two units because I don't want to have to re-recruit them. They did a great job though. They ended up in some less than desirable fights and honestly did very well. One of my units shattered. That's okay. I'd rather them shatter than them be completely destroyed.
The battle is turning in our favor.
Indeed it is. I'm surprised that the Cyrenaicans sallied out against me. It was definitely a mistake on their part. No doubt about it.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Just rear charge over here. There we go. So this battle is over. The dollar store Egyptians are going to be routed. And sent fleeing. I think it's just their naval unit that came ashore. It's going to be the only one left. And it should be moving around somewhere back here. I'm going to chase down that pike unit. There it goes. It routed as well. It was back here. Alright, so very sound victory for us there. We were outnumbered by a considerable margin and able to hold the line without much issue. Our combo heavy melee and heavy shot cavalry is going to be nice. It's going to allow us to be pretty flexible. It's Hellenic, so we're just going to occupy it.
We hunger for battle.
And it's basically overdone with food. I don't need this here. I'm going to switch that over to a trade port. I'm going to tear that down and build something in its place. Farming colony. I'm going to switch that over to a civil town. Alright, so first blow against the Cyrenaicans complete. They may attack Alexandria with this fleet of transports where their army is at. I'm not 100% sure what their next move. Hannibal is ready enough to push to Larissa, but let's get eyes on. There is a stack here. This is the Champions of Nike.
At your command.
So they're sponsored by Nike. No doubt bringing the ancient Air Jordans into the fight. In some decent units here. Not a lot, but they have some. They have these pikemen. They got a Hippeus Lancer General. They've got some mercenary Thracian cavalry and some Gorgo skirmishers and one mercenary veteran hoplite. They shouldn't be any match for our troops. I'm going to go ahead and fight this battle as well so that Hannibal can push forward. My fleet, I'm going to let it fully replenish and get ready for the assault on Pella. And not to mention the fleet can continue to hold Athens in the meantime. Do not wish for fog. This deployment will work. Alright, so they sallied... No, they were fortified, so I attacked them and they were in a fort. Interesting. Maybe a bit of a bad decision on my part, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
At your service.
I'm gonna take some melee troops. I can't deploy over there. I forget they give you 3-sided deployment on the enemy fort. I'll actually take my main force then and deploy here. I'm gonna give the full archer support to this front. I'm gonna burn down their towers. A little bit of support action here. Support action here. Put some Ozit Knights with both of these flanks. General and Hellenic Cataphracts. Keep them here. I'm gonna push up to just outside tower range.
Those walls are like the hearts of the defenders behind them.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
They are men of soft clay, like their walls.
Okay, so I'm gonna move my archers up, burn their towers, and then start killing pikemen. And challenge them to do something about it. They do have their Gorgo skirmishers who can do some damage to me from range. But I don't think the AI is going to be able to properly defend itself here. My own archers, in fact, appear to outrange their towers.
Men of Persia! Give them fire! Fire! At the ready!
Switch over to flaming shots. Burn these 2 archery towers. My guys moved up into range. I think they probably could have fired from outside of range, but they didn't. Fire damage. We're near 100% there. Back up. Okay, near 100% there. Alright, we're off fire at will.
The enemy's tower has been destroyed.
Alright, so we destroyed those 2 archery towers. They now have a pike unit that is garrisoning this entryway.
The enemy's tower has been destroyed.
Alright, so these archers are coming in handy here. What am I going to be in range of? Their towers are dead. I think it's still just showing me the range of their towers. I'm going to get in range of that pikeman. Just start to unleash. For Gorgos skirmishers and slingers, one of them is facing towards me. Not going to use flaming missiles because they do a little less damage. Their unit's in a pike phalanx, so I don't believe they get the benefit of their shield. Now they're going to turn their back to me, that's even better. Ooh. I think the AI is programmed to put its strongest troops in what it considers to be a key position. So when you start to damage one unit, they'll start to move it around and try and replace it with others. And this actually ends up being a terrible strategy for the AI because it allows you to just shoot their units in the back and continue to do massive damage to them. Oh, reinforcements. Hey, how about that? This is their garrison reinforcements. Pikemen and a militia hoplites. Alright, I'm gonna let my archers do some of their work while we defeat these guys. I need my Ozets to do this work for me so I can go kill their skirmishers. Oops, sorry, hit play. They just keep putting new pikemen up front for me to kill. Don't waste your javelins, gentlemen. Oh, that's not good. Slinger actually fled back through their pike unit. Which I don't think it was intended to be a clever trick, but ended up being a fairly clever trick. Some fire on those Hippeus Lancers. Alright, my Thorax Pikes should cut down their standard pikemen with relative ease. Plus the AI is having some of that sweet Rome 2 movement glitch. Your Hippeus Lancer General is taking a face full of arrows right now. Not really enjoying life. But I don't really want him to be enjoying life, do I? Alright, the enemy general is dead. There's still a fair number of pike units inside the garrison.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
I'm just about out of ammunition. Now, there is a downside here, and that is that AI is going to have quite a lot of ammo to shoot at me, but I think we'll still be okay. Alright, our Thorax Pikemen did their job admirably here. I want to rest my units before we assault the fort. This militia hoplites getting destroyed by a 1-2 combo of Ozet Knights and Thorax Swords. And those militia hoplites realized that in their hearts they were indeed cowards, who no longer wished to continue this fight. Okay, we now need to burn down the remaining arrow towers. I'm going to use my Thurio Spears for this job. as I'm less concerned about taking losses on them than I am my thorax swords. About call them silver shield swords. I definitely want some silver shields swords. Yeah, I want these last two arrow towers down. I don't want them giving the AI any additional benefit. I have to put my men into a melee mode and then give them an attack order on the arrow tower. Fast forward for a moment, let my other troops be regaining their stamina. Like I said, we're going to take some damage coming in here because the arrow towers and the remaining skirmisher units for the AI. I don't know what you're doing, but you can do your job from right over here. There you go. Go ahead and throw your torches. Okay, no. Get over here. You don't need to go inside the fort to do this. You're going to be well within range right here, okay? There you go. It's a mercenary Thracian cav coming out here. It's interesting.
We are at your command. We await your command.
It's oh crap. My guys followed the bad pathfinding over here too.
Melee cavalry awaiting orders.
I don't know where these guys are gonna go. Alright, it's just about
By your command.
complete arrow damage there. Complete damage. This hoplite unit, I'll just come assault it. Okay, that tower is gonna be burned. This is getting annoying. That Thracian cavalry is trying to outmaneuver all of my attempts to pin it in, so I just have to cut it off. Alright.
Ready for orders.
Gotta back up a little bit to get outside of skirmisher fire. That tower is now gonna be destroyed. Excellent. Alright, so we killed the Thracian cavalry that was trying to break out.
The enemy's tower has been destroyed.
See how we're doing over here. Now we need to start burning the walls to the ground.
Your orders.
Thorax pikes, you can move forward. Infantry, move forward. These guys are a little bit tired, but we're going to go ahead and move forward here as well. I'll let this unit keep... Oh, my general. My general, sweet general. Hannibal, please don't sacrifice yourself at Heir's whims.
Our general is under attack.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Hellenic cataphracts.
That is Hannibal. That's not just any general that I'm attempting to kill there.
For glory.
Ready. Spear infantry at your
I'm
command.
going to start burning some holes into the walls here, redecorating a bit.
Thoreo spears.
Swords. Ready. To advance.
Yours to command.
Thorax pike
Stand up.
Orders. Ready. Ready and waiting.
Thorax swordsman.
Okay. The redecoration of the Athenian fort has begun.
Thoreo spears.
The walls are breached.
Thorax swordsman.
By your command.
Hack them down.
Pike infantry. At your command.
Pikeman.
Attack their
Thorax
position.
pikeman.
By your command.
The walls are breached.
Pikeman.
Your orders. Yes, commander.
To arms.
Okay. Game is lagging. I hope it's not crashing. It did not.
Break the
Commander.
lines.
Ready.
Understood.
Let's keep breaching the walls.
The walls are breached.
At your service.
Your orders.
Pikes. Pike phalanx.
Ready for orders.
Pikeman. Form phalanx.
Ready for orders. For glory.
We await your command.
We await your command.
The walls are breached.
Okay, excellent. We've got many wall breaches.
Your orders.
Pikeman.
Pike infantry. At your command.
Move up here.
The walls are breached.
Thoreo
Okay.
Thorax swordsman!
I'm gonna push this thorax sword into the breach.
At your service.
Then I'll start bringing in thorax pike support.
Ready and waiting. Your orders.
Alright, here we go.
Ready and waiting.
We are definitely ready to start pushing in large numbers. So let's send our elephants over here.
Orders.
Thorax pikeman!
Alright.
By your command. Understood. Thorax pikeman. Strike the lines.
The Athenian fort is breached. There's a trampling charge into these light hoplites. I'm gonna throw some extra support at this fight for a minute. See if we can break the resolve of the Athenians to continue fighting. Let's fall back off of that.
Awaiting orders. Advance order.
Alright, how are we doing?
Thorax pikeman!
We're doing. We're holding our own.
What are your orders? Quickly now. Engage.
Charge into these mercenary peltists.
Cavalry. Whatever
Our cataphracts. I'm gonna come through this breach over here.
my lord.
Those light hoplites were significantly damaged by my cataphract charge.
Your orders.
Get in here, cataphracts, come on.
Advance. Melee cavalry awaiting orders.
There we go, that's good news.
Orders, my lord.
Alright, we have fully breached the fort at this point.
Melee cavalry, as you command. Awaiting orders. Get engaged.
Now let's do a group second wind
The battle is turning in our favor.
and do an inspire here. Some of our swords.
Right. Tribunus.
Just a hoplite unit here.
Armored elephant. Advance. For glory. Right.
Our thorax swords don't have a particularly large amount of killing power, but they can hold a line for a long time, and they're pretty good.
Armored elephant.
Like, they don't necessarily do damage as quickly as something like a royal peltist or a heavy barbarian sword infantry or something, but they do a good job. It's a mercenary veteran hoplite, which is why it was taking my pikes so long to cut through them. Very high armor. Pikes do not necessarily deal like tons of armor-piercing damage either. Okay, so nice battle there. Nice battle. Hannibal's very much victorious over the fortified Athenians here. If you have the right tools, picking apart an enemy fort is not terribly difficult. But again, that's if you have the right tools. And in this case, we did. For everything that the Athenians had in the fort, including the fort itself, we had an answer for it. And so it ended up not being a significant threat. We will have defeated their garrison in a pretty spectacular fashion in the middle of that fight as well. So I'm just going to auto-resolve this one. Well, you know, if I auto-resolve this, they might kill off some of my thorax swords. So I'm going to have to fight this one, though I'm not going to show it to you all. I'll do it off screen, and when we come back, Hannibal will be in control of Larissa. But I think that was a good episode. We got some new territory. We had a couple of big battles. We had some key defenses. We've pushed further into Bactrian territory with this army, which is now ready to continue pushing into Bactrian territory. In fact, we are very near their capital here, and I do wish to move forward and prepare to assault their capital. I really want to keep the initiative in this fight. They've only got 2 units there, but I think they get to pick a new general on this turn end. Let's see, Alexandria. So this army has now gotten quite a bit of replenishment done. Quickest way to get to them is through the desert here, but that will end up being rather painful for this army, so I don't know exactly the best way for myself to deal with that. I could give the Medians a focus order on them. Not exactly sure. Anyway, I'm going to keep marching back towards the Colchian border here because they are going to be giving us grief. And then as far as the war against the Cyrenaicans, we've got a lot of replenishment to do here because we had a couple of sword units that took some damage in that last fight. But all in all, I'd say a good episode for us. We're gaining steam, and our enemies are continuing to lose ground. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, make sure and go hit that like button, leave a comment. I will see you all soon with some more action in the Total War Rome II Seleucid campaign.